The next question. I'm going to go to number 6, and I can't quite, the light isn't good, the lady just next to you.
Thank you,
Yep.
Chairman. My name is Vula Parker. I am from Madagascar and therefore will ask about the operation in Madagascar. I just note in the Rio Tinto review about the fact that it has an exemplary record in terms of Kipfer Mineral Madagascar and received the NEDBAG 2009 Environmental Awards. So congratulations on that. However, it's still not quite there, and I would like you to actually pay attention to another publication that's available that everyone should read, and I'm sure that we did send this to you. It is called Madagascar Voices of Change. And the people who are actually around the ilmenite mining in Madagascar are illiterate, and therefore their oral testimony has been collected and put into this booklet. This booklet is available free of charge on the website. I have 3 questions, Sheriff. First of all, with regard to the arrangement, the joint venture arrangement in Madagascar, the Kipfer Mineral Madagascar, could you please confirm whether the 2080 arrangement still stands? 20% being the Madagascar government, 80% is the then Kipfer Minerals, now taken over by Rio Tinto, or is it 100% owned by Rio Tinto? The importance of that is huge in relation to the commercial agreement that Madagascar entered into. Madagascar borrowed money to actually take part into this venture from the World Bank. And that's my next question is, I was surprised. I received an email from the representative of the World Bank in Madagascar that they are currently investigating allegation of fraud around the land compensation processes regarding the ilmenite mine in south of Madagascar. Is the board aware of that, and should the board make the shareholders aware of it, because I am quite concerned about that. And my last question, if I may, is the growth outlook of titanium dioxide markets in the world. I noticed that it's only 6% in the diamond and mineral in total assets, total revenue of last year's revenue, which is quite low compared to the other areas of the firm. I would like to know, where is the growth outlook, and is there hope for this venture, either in tax revenues for the government and in employment, of course? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. Let me begin by saying that the business in Madagascar is one of those operations I've not yet visited. I very much look forward to doing so personally, and if I can manage my diary, I hope to get to visit Madagascar in the last quarter of this year, and I very much look forward to that. Yes, thank you for recognizing the NEDBAG award that we received last year for the environmental management of our business there. I think we are very proud of that. With regard to, I think there are 3 questions, but if I don't get them, you can correct me. First of all, I'm quite confident that the arrangement is still 80-20, but Tom, is that correct? Yes, the ownership arrangement is still 80-20, which is what you suggested it is. Tom, would you want to, do you want to comment on the question of land fraud? Is not something I bear knowledge of personally.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe just part of it is a spin-off of the World Bank question. World Bank's associated with the project in 2 ways. One is it's supporting the government of Madagascar and Madagascar's 20% interest, but it's also a part owner of the port facility. They were co-invested with QMM in that port facility. And one thing to be proud of is that the annual review cover of Rio Tinto for 2009 was the new port facility, which is the most modern port in Madagascar. And it's a very important part of World Bank's idea of the 3 growth nodes for Madagascar, one being Fort Dauphin and the Fort Dauphin community. I think your question about land transfer goes into what is a dispute resolution process on those land purchases that would have taken place during the course of the project development. And my understanding is that there is a dispute resolution process. There have been some questions, was that land properly priced? But it is a normal process that would go through on a normal commercial basis, but it certainly has oversight from a community perspective. And if I'm correct, Harry Kenyon Slaney, who runs this business, is in this crowd. He can correct me. I think that there is a mechanism where USAID is also involved in that Fort Dauphin community and the overall support of these transitions. And finally, if I just maybe talk about the TiO2 market. About 95% of the ilmenite going into TiO2 is used for paint, and the pigment and for paint opacity and rheosity to make paint as bright as it can be. So it very much is driven off of building construction. We see usually accumulation of paint inventories by paint makers before the Northern Hemisphere summer season, because people tend to paint their houses and things in the summer, but a lot of it is driven around new construction activities. As we look ahead, as we see the steel demand in China, as we see the growth of residential construction in China, we would hope to see continued growth in that pigment market, continued growth in the paint market. And so from my perspective, I do see optimism, and I think we have a very strong position in the TiO2 feedstock market, and QMM is a very important part of that for us.
Come back to something that Mr. Albanese said about the land compensation issues. My name is Yvonne Orengo, and I work for the Andrew Lees Trust that has been working in southern Madagascar for 15 years and has followed the course of this project. We do know that although you're saying that these things are in hand locally, that in fact the company, one of your company representatives, told a representative from the British High Commission at the end of last year that there were no outstanding land compensation issues as far as the company were concerned. And they also repudiated findings that in these oral testimonies just months after they told us that they could be used for regional discussion purposes. They didn't like the fact that they had gone, that these testimonies had gone public, and that some of the comments in them, we suspect, upset them because they mentioned the land compensation issues, forest access issues, and other extreme poverty problems that local people are suffering because of impacts of the mine. We have no response from the company about this document. We have sent it to the company, both locally and here in London, and it'd be very nice to know that you care enough to maybe respond, listen to what the local people are trying to tell you, and to actually respond constructively. Thank you.
Can I make a suggestion, actually, in the interest of time? What I will suggest is if you can try and meet up with Tom during the lunch break, I think that's a good idea. Does anybody feel that we should debate this further, or do you think we should leave that there for a minute? Okay. Tom, do you want to give
I've been visiting Madagascar a number of times since 2000, and during that whole period, there's been quite a bit of oral testimony and oral consultations going away. A lot of it, as you know, is videotape. I can't go to the specifics of that, but I know we've gotten opinions from everyone in every one of the communities in the area. In any democratic situation, you may have some people that are disagreeing. I can't answer the individual ones, but I'd be happy to have that. The more specific comments and see what we can we talk about those. Again, the poverty that was in the Fort Dauphin area, the deforestation going in the Fort Dauphin area before there was any activity going on was quite extreme. It was extreme in the context of Madagascar. It was in the extreme context of Madagascar compared to other Indian islands and Africa. And I would say that there has been a considerable uplift in the economy in Fort Dauphin, and those communities, on balance, are better off.
Thank you, Tom.